Our second speaker is John Hope. Hope's What We Do Best. Hope's What We Do Best, John Hope!
The Wright brothers, they're known for their pioneering of flight. Babe Ruth, baseball. Jack Nicklaus, golf, but he looks at his ball. You got Einstein, who has his intellect going, and you got Edison for the light bulb. All very famous people. I was introduced at the beginning of the speech with the last name Hope. What are the Hopes famous for? Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and most welcome guests, that is simple. We are famous for our flatulence. Yes, our flatulence. Did you know that the average person produces 1,000 milliliters of methane a day? And we expel it in large and small doses about 10 to 20 times. I'm sure one of you right now may be letting some go. I'm pretty sure. The good news about flatulence is that 99% of it is harmless and non-lethal. Flatulence is also an indicator that you have a healthy, complex biosystem inside your gut. My great-grandfather and grandfather, they were well known for their elegant wind. Legend has it, they could belt out small tunes. And they passed that on to my father and me. And we practice it every day! A couple of years ago, my father was standing next to his granddaughter, and he played a small melody. And she looked up at him with a glare, and down at his shoes, and back up at the glare. And my father smiled, and he looked at her and said, "Did you recognize the tune?" And she looked up at him and pointed at his shoes and says, "No, Grandpa, but that sounded like a wet one. You better check your shoes." True story. Did you know that when complex carbohydrates hit your colon, some bacteria break it down first, and their byproducts create a whole smorgasbord for the rest of the bacteria. And we humans, we get to share in their aromatic spoils. Yes! We Hopes take carbohydrate breaking down to an all new level. Have you heard of chili mac? Chili mac is a freeze-dried meal used on backpacking and camping trips. We have such a vibrant community of bacteria, we've had to ban its consumption. We learned this the hard way on a recent camping trip when we unzipped our tents from the swelling of methane from the meal of chili mac the night before. This family, as we sat and watched this family move their campsite over one campsite, I mean literally 15, 20 feet away, I sat there and wondered, was it really that bad? And then I read, we humans don't actually mind the smell of our own gas. We become habituated to these unique aromas that are produced by the bacteria in our bodies. So it doesn't smell bad to us, even though it's as pungent and stale to everyone else. Then there are the myths. No, you can't hold one in until it goes away. It's just not possible. Truth is, you may think it vanished, but it only vanishes after you've crop dusted a room full of people and it leaks out slowly. My wife has tried to do this with disastrous results. She's been known to eat a combination of pickled beets, jalapeno, and pizza topped with ham and sauerkraut. This combination produces such a lethal level of methane, we've dubbed it paint peelers. It is literally the 8th wonder of the world. Just the other day, my family and I were sitting having pizza at one of the local pizza joints. And as we waited for the food to arrive, my son Connor sat across the table. And he got this big smile on his face. And then he began to chuckle. We hopes we know this chuckle as it's an indication that a very special event has just occurred. And oh my, was this a special event? Clearly one of his better performances. This thing wafted over the table and through the room like that green fog on an old Star Trek episode. You know the one, right? Yeah, you know the one. I don't want to gross anyone out, but you can taste this thing. We must have, as we were sitting here marveling at my son's masterpiece, we must have given the wrong impression to the waitress, because as she brought the food, we were all smiling. She thought we were smiling because the food was coming. As she got closer to the table, she realized why we were smiling. She literally dropped the food on the table and ran away with burning tears in her eyes. We actually have become accustomed to this. We call it the hope effect. We try to minimize it, but it happens often. So, we hopes, in closing, take flatulence to an all-new level. Quite frankly, if you see a group of hopes high-fiving each other, just stay away. It's how we celebrate, and it's really just not that pretty. When it comes to flatulence, we hopes will go down in the annals of all time. Mr. Toastmaster.